AG Barr toys with Congress like a cat. Feminazis get wokefished. And we take a look at the dump of documents Epstein left behind when he didn't kill himself. All that and more on today's Mystery Men podcast.
Hello, random stranger.
Well, welcome to today's show. I think we're just going to get right into it, just like Fredo Cuomo, and take a look at Bill Barr. As you heard in the intro, we had some music playing, and that was actually Bill Barr showing everybody how to play the bagpipes.
Can I just say I learn more and more about Bill Barr every day. Like, he is like the ultimate Renaissance man.
Right.
It's like Leonardo da Vinci is running the Attorney General's office now. Comedian, Attorney General, bagpipe enthusiast.
Yeah. So like I'm perusing Twitter earlier this week. And, somebody posts, I think it was on Barstool News, they post like a link to some clip that somebody mixed together. So AG Barr, I don't know what this is. He's at some function and I think they have, some...
It's a birthday party.
Yeah, probably. And basically, they're playing the bagpipes. They have this whole theme going. And then he gets up from his seat on the stage and then walks behind and grabs a bagpipe and starts playing the bagpipe
was there just an extra one sitting there, or that was his? I mean, I really want to know more about that story.
So basically, that clip was already out there, but somebody spliced in clips of the Attorney General being basically interrogated by a lot of the Democrats this week by Congress.
Are you aware that the rector of the church, that the Episcopal Archbishop of Washington and the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church nationally, along with the Catholic bishop of the Archdiocese of Washington, all denounced this police assault on the civil rights and civil liberties of the people?
Did they do that before or after the fire was put out?
So how can you sit here and tell us, why should I investigate the President of the United States if you're not even aware of the facts concerning the President using the pardon or commutation power to swap the silence of a witness?
Because we require a reliable predicate before we open a criminal investigation.
Mr. Barr, if I...
Yeah, but this is a hearing. I thought I was the one that was supposed to be heard.
Well...
I waited an hour for you this morning. I haven't had lunch. I'd like to take a 5-minute break.
Mr. Attorney General, we are almost finished. We're going to be finished in a few minutes. Otherwise, we can certainly take a break. But
you're real classic.
Well, yeah. After this, if you still want, we'll have a break.
No.
But in fact, you have no evidence that foreign countries can successfully swear elections with counterfeit ballots, do you?
No, I don't, but I have common sense.
Body right here would rise up if they decided to go tonight and paint the Capitol building?
This body, I'm not sure. What makes me concerned for the country is this is the first time in my memory that the leaders of one of our great two political parties, the Democratic Party, are not coming out and condemning mob violence and the attack on federal courts. Why can't we just say, the violence against federal courts has to stop? Could we hear something like that? Since when is it okay to try to burn down a federal court? If someone went down the street to the Prettyman Court here, that beautiful courthouse we have right at the bottom of the hill, and started breaking windows and firing industrial-grade fireworks in to start a fire, throw kerosene balloons in and start fires in the court, is that okay? Is that okay now? No, actually, I need to answer that question.
Mr. Attorney General, you did answer the question.
No, you said under penalty of perjury. I'm going to answer the damn question. Okay?
You said the answer was yes.
And he was never seen again. He just like wanders off.
So we have Bill Barr, throwing down on all the Democrats. Did any of you guys get a chance to watch any excerpts from that?
I watched pieces of it. I didn't see the whole thing because, oh my God, I hate Jerry Nadler.
He's the worst. He was like falling
like
asleep.
A fat golem.
Yeah, did you see the clips of him falling asleep?
Yeah, he was falling asleep during that whole thing, and I was just like, I hate him so much. And then he woke up to like pick something out of his teeth or something and wipe it on his hand, and then he went back to sleep.
No, it was the ear. His ear. And then, okay, so did you guys also see? I don't know if it was I think it was this week, and Fleckus Talks was, or maybe it was last week. He was like,
I haven't seen
"Hey, what do you think about all the rioting going on in Portland and stuff?" And his response was, "Oh, it's just a myth." and then I've seen clips of people like posting up that response, and then as like a green screen background, like all the rioting videos.
Well, I heard also they even showed him like some of the riots, and he's just like, "Oh, you must see a Trump sport trying to get Trump off of the hook," or something like that. It's just a stupid response.
Wow. Well, either way, all that to say, Bill Barr is pretty awesome so far. He hasn't really.
Yeah, I wish he was the Attorney General at the first of Trump's.
Oh my gosh!
Jeez, what a difference!
Yeah.
Where do they find him too? That's a curiosity.
He was Attorney General in the past. I believe,
the Bush, I think Bush Senior administration. Then he went back to, I guess, just a corporate world. He retired, and then he came back when Trump asked him. Basically,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So this whole and he has a lot of money apparently too. So this whole thing about him being in Trump's pocket or just wanting to. He's he had no reason to come back. Basically, he just came back because he wanted to. He wanted to kind of help. He saw a need. Yeah. Basically.
Right.
Well,
that's awesome. I mean, some of those responses, and I did get a chance to watch a little bit of the stream for that session that he had with Congress, but it was pretty interesting. It was just really annoying because they would keep cutting him off. They wouldn't let him respond to their questions. It was just they were just trying to. They knew he would be able to get around a lot of the stuff they were throwing at him.
It's just theatrics. That's what.
Yeah.
They're looking for a soundbite, and they just never got it.
Yeah.
But man, his patience was unbelievable.
His patience. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine sitting there and just getting berated by that? And then, he, at one point he had waited about an hour because they had to delay the questioning for about an hour because Jerry Nadler got into a car accident or something.
Of course.
And so they delayed it. So then he was like, "Can we take a break? Because I'm getting hungry, and we had to wait here an extra hour because of the delay." And Jerry Nadler was, I think part of that was at the end of that clip or whatever.
Yeah.
But he was basically like, "Oh, we only have a few minutes, and we can if you want." I don't know if they ended up giving it to him or not, but
I think they did. I saw another clip that they ended up. He gave the break. It's always a gut reaction. He was trying to. I think they're always trying to show how strong they are, and so his gut reaction was like, "Oh, no, you can't. I'm being strong and showing myself to be a strong leader by not taking any whatever."
I mean, he got to sneak in on that. Yeah. That's not fair. He got to take a break.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can't Barr get a little nap, a little 5-minute nap, a little food?
Okay, well, either way, we have established he's very cool, but what's not cool is China sending us seeds.
Yeah.
Nice segue. You know what's not cool?
How do you transition from
It's
Bill
not
Barr
cool.
to
You're right, man.
So basically, this week a news report came out where random people were getting sent mystery seeds. They don't know what kind of seeds or anything from China. So we'll play a clip for you from a little news bite.
People across the U.S. are receiving unsolicited packages from China. They appear to contain mystery seeds. Federal officials reported hundreds of the cases, while the state of Virginia says it's received over 1,000 calls and emails from seed recipients. Many of the packages have China Post written on the label, indicated of the country's state-run postal service. Officials from nearly 30 states have put up warnings, asking people not to open the packages and definitely not to plant the seeds.
At this point in time, we don't have enough information to know if this is a hoax, a prank, an internet scam, or an act of agricultural bioterrorism. But what we do know is this: unsolicited seeds could be invasive and introduce unknown diseases to local plants, harm livestock, or threaten our environment.
Seed receivers should contact the State Department of Agriculture for further instructions. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbing defended the country's postal service, saying it follows all restrictions on seed deliveries. He also accused that the labels are fake and are not from China Post. U.S. authorities are currently testing the seeds. Meanwhile, the UK also got unsolicited seeds from China. The UK said it's investigating packages of seeds marked ear studs that are being sent to people in Britain. The packages mostly came from China and Southeast Asia. Local authorities warn the seeds may carry a biosecurity threat since they've bypassed the usual strict checks. Likewise, Canadian authorities wrote on Twitter that people in Canada have also been receiving unsolicited seeds, although they didn't say where the packages came from.
So, seeds from China. What do you guys think?
Bean stocks.
I'm going to say this. I really do believe China is being very methodical and intentional about what's going on right now. I know people are going to say, "Oh, you're being over dramatic," but that China is intentionally or allowed this kind of coronavirus to go out, and they are taking advantage of how countries are now focusing on trying to contain the virus. They have the border clashes on the Indian Chinese border, and these seeds are going out to all 50 states. I went to UK as well, and I think another country, to Taiwan. And so there's been cases on that. And so I know China, like, I feel like anything that China says, like, "Oh, no, it's not us," like I really put it in question. Now, the fact that it had China Post on the envelope, you would think Chinese would be a little smarter about it. So I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was China sending these things out. And I'm sure there's going to be one person that's going to be like, "Oh, seeds, I'm going to plant them." And they're banking on it, because apparently all 50 states have been sending out this warning. So there's someone that's going to eventually be like, "Oh, I see a bag of seeds. I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to plant them." And, I think China is being very methodical of trying to ultimately find ways to disrupt or the U.S. and other countries that are in the way.
What do you think it is, though? Like, do you think it's like...
I think it's something that maybe if you plant it, it destroys maybe the plants around it or something. Like maybe sucks the nutrients or kind of diverts it to it, or I mean, I don't know.
Genetically engineered to like cause some kind of disease, or know.
I want them to plant it in like a little pot. You kind of see that way it doesn't affect other things.
Thanks,
please do not plant it. Oh God!
Thanks, Invisible.
Yeah, we don't want to plant any seeds.
Brainiacs and Einsteins here today. Like,
you grow seeds.
Tell us again
You'll
your
find
scientific
out.
method. Find pot. Put pot. Seeds.
Put in pot. You grow seeds. You find out.
Yeah, they're trying to test it. Like they're trying to test what it is, but the guy's just like, it could be a hoax. I'm like, but it's sent to like 50 states. It's found in another UK and Taiwan is the other country I was thinking about. So I'm like, this is not a prank.
And I believe some of the packaging like indicated something else. It didn't even say seeds on it. It like said some kind of other product on it. But it's just
the alternative is that this is just actually an Amazon or
gone wrong
online account kind of scheme in which it just focuses on building reviews of a product that helps the rankings of certain sellers.
Okay.
So there's some stories out there. I'm reading one on the indiestar.com about the potential of this being more about it helps with your Amazon ranking if you can get reviews and they send out to a real product or a fake product to fake addresses. And it's a weird scheme. I don't know exactly how it all works, but it could be that. But there's a more nefarious potential as well.
It's a pretty elaborate effort then if they're sending it to that.
I know.
Countries.
Yeah. No, it's Corona plants.
Corona.
China virus seeds.
So while China is catfishing us with their seeds, liberals are getting wokefished by nonpartisan or conservative guys. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at this article, but it seems like wokefishing is a thing now. Wokefishing is defined, and take this with a grain of salt because this is coming from Vice News, which I'm pretty surprised they're still around. I thought they buckled or something. But wokefishing is when people masquerade as holding progressive political views to ensnare potential partners. A wokefish may at first present themselves as a protest-attending, sex-positive, anti-racist, intersectional feminist who drinks ethically sourced oat milk and has read the backlog.
I'm sorry, women. I'm sorry, but women, you guys are dumb. If somebody drinks oat milk and you're like, yeah, he's a real man. Oat milk. Those two do not go together.
So, I mean, it sounds like, and this could have potentially gone back to even like 2016, apparently, based on.
Of course it did.
I mean, I've been saying since 2016 there's no such thing as a male feminist. This is all just a ploy to get
these wokefish people, are they people that like legitimately are trying to be feminists? They're like those like feminists that are feminists to like get with a girl, but they're like or are they actually like they don't believe in this kind of stuff, but they're just doing it to really get with a girl and then, like sleep with her and then like bounce her? I don't know.
I think it's more people they don't have a belief, but maybe they'll represent that belief
watch some of the videos of these people getting interviewed and look at the guys that are in the audience. I think they have challenges finding women in general. So, like, here's an audience that no one else is around. Well, let me check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show on TLC called 90 Day Fiancé.
Yeah.
But there's like this one couple on there that I always think of whenever it comes to this subject, which is, I think his name is George and Anfisa.
I've heard. I know what you're talking about.
Is he the weed seller?
Yeah, the weed seller.
Yeah.
So like, she's like berating him, doing like all this cruel stuff to him, and he's like taking it all because he, basically thinks she's hot and wants to, get in her pants essentially, which I don't even know how he was able to do at that time because he was huge, but what do I know? So anyway, yeah, I mean, like, basically, I think this has gone on for probably years and years. It's just probably a natural thing for a guy to just say whatever he can to get with a girl.
Yeah. That's always going to be an accusation of people like that. I think, there's always a layer of people that are going to say that because they think that's that's the crowd. What the crowd wants, and they want to be to look good in front of the crowd, but they don't really mean the stuff that they are advocating. But then there's that other factor of like, oh, I want them. There's the girls who like me if I if I do this, if I pretend to have these views.
According to the Daily Wire article that I was kind of sourcing this from, it says ultimately most of the wokefish relationships ended badly. And Vice points out that experts believe common beliefs on things like religion and politics are key to a strong partnership. You don't say. You don't say.
Well, listen, since the beginning of time, man has been attempting to do anything possible to get into woman's pants.
Yeah.
Right? So if they're like, these are women's, let me figure out a way to get in their pants. I mean,
exactly.
That's just the way it goes. And women are like, because you're a feminist, you've lost all. I mean, I thought they also believe that men are inherently rapists. So like, don't they kind of assume how are they getting wokefished? I don't get why you're letting your guard down if all men are evil, unless men who spout out the same things you're saying, reduce their rapiness.
Well, I mean, I'm sure most of these women would like to weed out Trump supporters from dating profiles and everything. Much like Seattle would love to remove its police department. According to the New York Post.
Do you have these written down?
I do.
They're on fleek today,
dude. Seattle moves to abolish their police department, according to the New York Post. So just a quote from the article itself, Seattle lawmakers want to abolish the city's police force and replace it with a community-led safety prevention program.
I want to see how this works. No, guys, listen, let it play out. This will be an amazing opportunity.
I can't wait.
To see how this works.
I heard like a lot of citizens in Seattle are like really upset about it and like.
Yeah, there's a petition right now of 20,000 signatures saying we do not want this to happen. I'm like, where were you fools whenever they were electing these council people?
Yeah, exactly.
That are doing this nonsense. Did you not
Maybe they'll
think
come
this?
out this year.
They're essentially like, because all these protesters are in these Democratic cities. They're essentially like protesting themselves because they voted these people and they voted their policies in, and it's like getting themselves killed. And now they're just, I don't know, it's ridiculous.
I would have to agree with Mr. Fury. I mean, I don't want to sound insensitive, but I kind of want to see where this is going.
I mean, it's just going to be them. It's going to be the same with everything else. Like, they're going to blame Trump. They're going to say, "Oh, this is a love fest." Like, let's stop the peaceful protests.
I didn't agree with Chaz, but I mean, there were a lot of memorable clips that came out of that.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so you're saying you want to see this grow because of purely,
scientific reason.
Yeah, no, science. Right. This is not putting. You want to put Seattle in a pot and see if it grows and then see what happens, just like the seed.
like a Corona plant.
That's a solution for everything.
Let me cover like what some of the bill covers essentially. So under the bill, cops would be replaced by community-led activities and organizations focused on housing.
So like bounce houses or like what?
Oh, that's just Chaz. That's what the housing refers to. So focused on housing, food security, and other basic needs, along with culturally relevant expertise rooted in community connections. According to documents posted by Christopher Rufo, director of Discovery Institute Center on Wealth and Poverty.
I wish they would send an Al Sharpton to somebody's house whenever somebody's trying to beat their wife. I want to see what a community activist does. Like,
to gain, this is more from the article, to gain police department funding, groups must show they are well-versed in de-escalation skills, along with trauma-informed, gender-affirming, anti-racist praxis.
Stop.
If they'd spend a fraction of the time they creating these dumb manifestos and these statements on just finding a job. My God, this country would be like a 50% GDP.
That needs to be painted on every street in America. Get a job.
Tommy.
Get a job.
You need a job, Tommy.
That's not racist. That's racist.
Wait, are the liberals the Tommies of the United States? Basically?
Yeah. Tommy from Martin.
Yeah, man, I'm going down to the activation of the group to see. Shut up! Get a job.
I'm gonna have to use the quote Bruce Wayne's butler. There are some men aren't looking for anything logical. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
I think that describes Invisible, actually.
All right, so what's the premise here? That they're going to cut the police force, which will increase police response times, right? And the availability to quickly respond to major emergencies. That's the basic premise? Like, how does this
how does that work? I mean, if there's less police, how are they going to respond quicker?
No, I'm saying that's what's going to result. It's going to result in longer, wait times for police, right?
Yeah.
That's my point. My question is, how does defunding the police directly relate to whatever their main causes, which I assume is the reduction in the number of police murders or whatever they're claiming is the negativity behind the police? Like, again, defunding the police. Like, if you're saying to me, I don't like getting fat, so I'm going to defund my grocery bill. All right. So I'm still eating food. It's just not the right food. But, I'm just trying to figure out what is going on here that defunding the police is going to help this with.
I think they think, maybe they think all these altercations, with the bad cops are happening with these small misdemeanor-ish type things where they think maybe a social worker would be better equipped to handle that. I mean, that's
but defunding the police is not going to change that. I mean, don't you think maybe better if that's really the truth, if that's really the facts, that they're wanting to reduce the number of people that are getting incarcerated or the number of violent altercations. I mean, reducing the police doesn't reduce the crime that these police have been historically addressing or going to meet with, right?
Yeah. Right.
So how does this work?
Yeah, I mean, again, the argument I guess is the crime will still be the same, but a lot of those little petty crimes where apparently cops are just mowing people down, versus just talking to them or giving them a glass of oat milk. They need to be handled by, I guess, social workers and therapists and things like that, while cops only handle the most violent or egregious of crimes.
But doesn't it sound like they're trying to get rid of the police altogether, though?
That's what I think.
I think it's a similar thing to the whole gun control argument. First it starts with assault rifles or whatever that is, and then. But eventually, they want a full gun confiscation. And I think that's the same with the police. Which,
well, in the article they're talking. Okay.
Well, no, I just don't. I guess I don't really understand the long game behind this. I would think the liberals would want the complete control, given to the government. I guess the police would just be a state issue, but
so I'm reading this article, NewYorkPost.com, where it says it's titled the "What does defund the police really mean and how would it work?" So they're saying defunding the police would reduce public spending on police departments, potentially resulting in fewer cops and more money available to spend on other services that advocates believe would lead to reductions in crime. So it's not just about taking away money from the police; it's about reinvesting those dollars into Black communities. Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Cullors told Boston's WBUR radio. So basically she's saying communities that have been deeply divested from, communities that some have never felt the impact of having true resources, we have to reconsider what we're resourcing. I'm saying we're having an economy of punishment over economy of care. So basically take the money from the police, give it directly to the community, because they will be able to do things and provide resources to people so they won't feel the need to rob banks or each other. That's the premise. Yeah, because police departments are the largest expenditure of a city, right? Local cities, I would say 50 to 60% of their budgets are devoted to police and fire.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which is generally the primary duties of government described in our Constitution is to protect life, right? So you spend 60 to 70%, they're saying, let's take out a portion of that and just give it to the community. So socialism is, I guess, another word you could use. But all right, so never mind. So basically give it to the community, and therefore they will be like, now I have bread in my pantry. I don't have to go and steal or take drugs or commit suicide or do any of the other things that police
or loot the Nike store.
I'll get my Jordans, give everybody Jordans, and we're good. We're going to stop crime in its tracks.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see what they're thinking about that. I just don't think it's going to go well for them.
Yeah, that's assuming everybody uses the money in a correct way, right? Yeah. But the issue with that is if everyone used money in the correct way, a lot of people wouldn't be in poverty. That's like the whole point. So
it's basically a welfare.
It's a welfare, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like why any business wouldn't invest in the projects or the hood. They're just end up getting looted or robbed or shot. What? What's the difference between a private business or just government money going into those areas?
Yeah, right. I think there's always that focus. I think it's ultimately, Mr. Frias, I think it's two thoughts. It's either they're just trying to do that for more of a virtue signaling to the people that are getting angry, or they really do believe that this is going to be effective and solve the problem. And it always comes back down to if we change the situation and gave them money or placate whatever we think they're furious about, then it's going to stop them from being upset. It always comes down to the internal motivations that we have. Can having bread in your pantry, as you were saying, really stop people from robbing or stealing or doing the things that ultimately require the police to be involved?
Yeah,
it's funny to me that these are the same city councilmen that have personal protection, and they have funding for security of their own homes, but yet they're knocking off security for a large segment of the population.
So, wasn't it the police department that eventually, rooted Chaz out of existence and cleaned up everything?
Right.
And so now that, they'll be drastically reduced, this just gives more of a chance for that type of stuff to come back. Or
more Chazes.
So I'm all for it. I just want to see new Chaz.
Well, what would you do if that happened in your hometown? Like the defunding movement? Would you wait to see it happen?
No,
see if a Chaz developed.
Because I'm not that dumb. I would definitely, fight that back if I could, Yeah. But I just, in my town, I doubt that's ever going to happen. But who knows? Who knows,
right?
Maybe Seattle started out as a very, very conservative place at one point.
I don't know. The inception of time, when the earth was formed.
When Starbucks was being formed.
Then they started making money, and then the rules came. We want it too. We didn't earn it. We want it. People who want things that they don't earn. Have you heard that story about Alyssa Milano?
She thinks she's being shadow banned. She's very mad that Joe Rogan has, quote, 3 times as many subscribers to his podcast than she has.
But she has a podcast?
Yeah, maybe she is shadow banned. I didn't know she had a podcast.
I didn't know I cared about Alyssa Milano's podcast either.
She's comparing herself to the biggest podcast in the world right now. What is she thinking?
When did Charmed come out? I don't think. Charmed.
Yeah, man, I need to go back and rewatch some of those riveting episodes.
She was only funny when she was on Who's the Boss.
When did that come out?
1984.
Yeah,
crazy this girl.
So, I actually, saw a lot of this on Twitter because, that's where she did this. I mean, this person is she's a crazy person. Like, she wrote like a 20 tweet string and just put all these complaints out there. And one of them was, among other, Donald Trump is bad, whoever voted for him is bad, blah, blah, blah. One of them was about this Joe Rogan thing. And that's what everybody kind of grabbed onto and just started like tormenting her to no end on Twitter. And,
has she responded since then?
I have not seen any kind of response from her. But, it was hilarious just to see like how many people pointed out the fact that, like, one, nobody knew she even had a podcast. And two, she, like you said, she compared it to like the number one podcast in the world. So it was pretty sad. I think whenever somebody posted up a couple of screenshots of one of her podcast episodes versus one of Joe Rogan's, and she had like 215 subscribers, and Joe Rogan had like over 1 million. I forgot the exact number, but it was like close to 2 million or something like that. But yeah, I mean, like, nobody cares about Alyssa Milano, and I don't know how or why she's come to the forefront of news in the last couple of years, especially during the Me Too movement. But she somehow has arisen, and
I wonder what type of people those 215 people are.
They're probably the same feminists that are getting, wokefished by people in the earlier article.
They're the people that receive the seeds across the United States.
They're the woke moms. The wall of moms.
There's probably a list. Yeah, wall of moms.
So
they probably are the exact opposite of our viewers, right, guys?
Oh yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I'm reading Alyssa Milano's rant. One of them is pretty funny. He's like, "We've got a president who's so orange and horrible that he doesn't care who knows he's orange and horrible. Actually, his horrible is a strategy. It's a campaign strategy. So is the orange." Like, okay, seriously, this is why you don't have any subscribers. If this is the content that you're putting out. Worried about Joe Rogan.
It sounds like something a drunk person would say. Like, maybe she got like hammered and just went on a Twitter rant.
Hey, you've reached the end of part 1 to this podcast, but there is a part 2, so be sure to check it out this week. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you later.